Okay, so another video. I just got a notification like 5 minutes ago. Madapes posted another one. I missed the original post, which was a few hours ago, but I'm gonna jump in it. So let's look at the chart first. 130K market cap. So right away, I'd probably just toss in a little bit because you never know what's gonna happen at this price. And then I'll do my charting after. Okay, so all my capital is tied up as always. So I'm gonna see if I got any wallets with a bit in it. This wallet has some in it. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay. Do I want to jump in here actually? Yeah, I'm gonna, just because you never know. 2-5. Buy. Okay, and if nobody knows what this is Trojan on Solana. And if you're gonna use Trojan bot, always make sure that it's this username because there's scam bots out there that'll take your money. And it looks exactly the same. And these are my preset buy or sells. Okay, so I get my initial back. Once it gets to 32 or 320K market cap, I've already sold off 50% of the position, okay, to like recoup the initial quickly, and then it's spread out all the way up to like 90x or something. Okay, I got my original buy-in, so now I'm gonna look at the chart and look for the next 2 entries for this, okay? Because my rule is I'm allowed to buy down 3 times on every coin that Madapes posts, and each buy has to be 0.05 SOL, which is about $6, okay? This keeps my portfolio risk reward consistent and safe because my portfolio is like $1,500 to $2,000, and I want to bet no more than 1% per position, which is kind of a standard professional trading way to do things, to manage risk. So that's what I am gonna do. So I'm gonna allow myself to buy down 2 more times. Oh yeah, and I'm gonna switch to the logarithmic chart, which shows a more accurate movement of the price. Okay, so we got an upper trend line here that hasn't been hit for the 3rd time. We got a big rising wedge here. Which is, the price is in between the 2 trend lines right now. So it's gonna hit one of them soon, but the question is which one? Should that here would be a broadening top of this pump. Those usually actually break down. So this could do something like this and start riding it and then drop down. But I don't really know yet, so I'm gonna keep marking this thing up until it makes sense to me what to do. So we got another trend line here within this larger structure. That looks like a channel to me. Maybe we could call that a wedge. Yeah, we can call that a wedge. One, two. Okay. So we do have also a cup and handle here, look. Which I think it is, I think you can say that broke through. So if this did break through, the breakout target is usually the height of the cup and handle structure. So, and if that did happen, we'd be breaking through the upper trend line, which could invalidate the rising wedge as a bearish structure, because usually rising wedges will drop the height of them, right? And if this did drop the height of it, it would drop down to like a 27K market cap. Yeah, this looks like it's about to go up. So this cup and handle might be valid. That's why I always buy in if it's like around 100k market cap, even up to like 300k. I'll usually buy in with the 0.05 SOL, and then I'm gonna chart it and then see where I think it's gonna go, right? And these really fresh charts, like they can go down or up really fast. So it's all about weighing the confirmations, like for the bullish side and the bearish side, and then whatever there's more of, I usually lean to that side. But I always look for the most bearish possible result, and like that would be dropping down to this support. And if it dropped down to the support, it could even die off, but it might bounce back later, right? If it quote unquote died off and went below 30k market cap, that's when I would probably look at it later and even buy in a bit more. Or you could even set another limit order down here at like 18,000. And then I would also look for these support zones. So yeah, it's hard to say where it's gonna go. I already put in my 0.05 SOL. So part of my rule is not putting all 3 buys in at the same level. Buying down is the rule. I can only put 1 in at that level, and then I have to buy down the rest. Even if I see all these bullish signs going up, I don't like to do that when it's at the top of a rising wedge. If it was like at a bottom of a falling wedge or something, and I saw the bullish confirmation signs, then maybe I'd throw in more than 0.05 SOL. But since it's at a top, I don't want to play that game. But it's really like struggling to stay above this support here. So, and this broadening shape here usually means it's gonna actually fail and come back down. So it's hard to say. Like it did bust through this cup and handle, but yeah, there's some struggling going on right here, I think. And now I'm gonna check the RSI to see what's going on. So we're still in the bullish zone. So if it's above 50, it usually means it's still a little bullish. On a 1 minute time frame. Okay, there's a tiny bullish divergence here. So that means we might have another little pump here, but I'm not too sure. That could get invalidated pretty quick, so maybe not. We'll see. Yeah, I think that's probably going to actually come down to here and test this lower trend line. And continue to form this broadening structure here. And if that does happen, then I think we might have a breakdown. Even though it's showing it's in the bullish range, if we had a little bit of a breakdown, this would start showing a bullish divergence probably. So that could tell me that this support would be a good entry, probably right around here, because it's showing signs that it might break down, but it's also showing signs that it's macro bullish. So short term possible bearish, longer term bullish. And if this structure actually did break down, as it should, like a textbook breakdown, it would probably go to 70k market cap. Okay, I'm gonna move all these lines because it's getting crazy. And what's that 70k? That's a support area. And right, I forgot that this is also a wedge, so this breakdown target too. Oops. So we got another breakdown target. Okay, I'm gonna start marking all the appropriate buy-in levels in red. Like the bearish option is down there. Yeah, I mean, I'd say those are all pretty good buy downs. And if you're gonna stick to a rule like me, no more than, I'm only allowed to buy in 2 more times, I would probably put one down here. Here. And here. See, I want to put in 3 more, which is going against my rule, right? So it's like, how do you know when is okay to break a rule? It should be like never, but I also say once in a blue moon's okay, as long as it doesn't become habitual. So how would I know if this is the chart I'm allowed to break a rule on and buy in 4 instead of just 2 or 3? I see something, okay, that I didn't see before. So here I see a bearish divergence. So that could be an indicator that I could add another buy down lower. Or that could just be an indicator that I moved my initial buy a bit lower. But yeah, this is a bearish divergence here. It's like not bullish divergence yet, but it's trying to. Like that's why I think this could drop. And then when it drops, that's when it's going to form the bullish divergence. That's why I don't think it'll be a full drop down to like 30K. It'll be like a partial drop. And I'm sure I'm missing some stuff I haven't even looked at here. Because like, if it does do a partial drop, it might hit like some other trend line I haven't even taken into account, like right here. Bam, there you go. Look at that. So that lines up perfectly with this $80,000 market cap buy-in. Right? So there's this like invisible trend line that I wasn't paying attention to that basically was on the top of this wedge. It broke through and then it acted as support. And if this wedge broke down that we were looking at earlier, it would take us right to this lower trend line. That would invalidate this bigger wedge, but then it would actually create a wider wedge, right? It would invalidate the original one, but it would just make a bigger one. And then this rising wedge would continue to go up like so. And if it hit this lower trend line here and kept going up, that actually forms a channel here, a rising channel, which is bullish. So that's when it's not a wedge anymore and the lines are perfectly lining up with each other, the lower and the upper. So if this wedge dropped and it hits this lower trend line, which acts as support, and then it bounces, then we're in a rising wedge here, which is very bullish. And we'd probably break through here, which is going to take us right up to that cup and handle breakout target, probably. Yeah. So I think it'll probably do something like this. I'm going to draw now that I've marked up the entire chart and gone over every possible scenario. This struggle to stay on this support, bam, and then it's going to come down to this lower support and lower support trend line. And then boom, hit this upper support, and then bam, down on this trend line again, and then it's going to probably consolidate and coil and form this ascending triangle, which also forms a larger ascending triangle right through here, so you can see. So this in here now, this would finish it off, and then if this ascending triangle breaks out, it's gonna be the height of it, right? Bam, right there, and it lines up perfectly with that upper trend line. I figured it out. I cracked the code. That's probably what's gonna happen here. Which is gonna invalidate this, or at least move it to there. Yeah, and that said though, like if this is what's gonna happen, like this is the possible bearish or bullish scenario, if that is gonna happen, then just setting a buy down here is a good idea at like 100K maybe, just to be safe, or 90K. But again, if that does happen, then it's forming an even bigger rising wedge, right? So just because it's maybe going to pump up to here doesn't mean that this wedge isn't going to still play out. Like if it pumps up to here, it'll probably come back down and then do something like this and then drop off, unless we get some serious volume that comes through, right? And then from there, bam, this thing's up at 280 mil market cap. So if you scoop some down here, when it comes down to here, and sell up there, you're getting a solid 3x. Anyways, that's that. I'm gonna stop this video now because I literally talk about one chart for so long, and I could keep going. Like, I already see another pattern I could talk about, but I'm not gonna. But yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen to this bad boy. All right, peace out. A-Town. Diamond hands, but not actually. We're degenerate hands. Degenerate hands. Okay, peace.